everybody. Welcome. This is such a special day for us. We get to do an interview with Heather Strubler, and she has just been an incredible member in our group. So much wisdom and a lot of vulnerability as you've shared some of the tricky spots during the journey. Tell us about your carnivore journey.
Well, I think I'm like a lot of people that I came to carnivore from keto. It just sort of naturally progressed into that. And mine really came from just wanting to lose weight, but I also deal with binge eating disorder and food addiction, and also in a pretty desperate spot to want to heal those things. So, yeah, I think I just found the SB gang from just, trying to consume all the carnivore content I could online. And you get sort of down to this rabbit hole of YouTube videos and just absorbing everything that I could.
What's the timeline? How long have you been carnivore?
I've dabbled in carnivore for a couple of years, but I've been really committed for since just right after Thanksgiving. I did like a traditional Thanksgiving dinner and felt pretty crappy afterwards, and just sort of you get tired of your own bullshit and just wanted to just make a change. I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired, because a lot of people say so. Yeah, the beginning of it was I feel like I went in really strong and really motivated, and then I started getting really in my head about it and just really hard on myself, and just sort of getting in my own way. And then I sort of came to a point where I just accepted myself for the struggles that I was having, and just this is the point where I'm at, and just loving myself in that moment. And it was such a freeing moment for me, and just allowing myself to be who I was. And I was able to then lean into those better choices, and it really just flipped a switch for me.
This is amazing. And why did you think that carnivore would help? You came from the keto background. What convinced you to try it? What made you think that this would actually be a different experience for you than all the history that you had with keto?
I had seen a lot of the Michaela Peterson and Jordan Peterson videos where they were talking a lot about just healing a lot of their mental health issues. I have anxiety and depression and ADHD, and I had heard mainly Jordan Peterson talk about how much it had helped him. And I was really curious. And so, and with doing carnivore, I was intrigued with it potentially relieving those symptoms, but I wasn't convinced it would happen. And then I was completely amazed that it did. Like within 2 weeks, it was when I was moving into our new house, I was able to like focus for about 7 hours straight of just unpacking one room, which is just not something I would ever do. I'm always the person who starts a task and then goes to another one and gets distracted. And I even told my husband, I was like, wow, I did like one solid thing, like hyper focus for like several hours. And that's just never been something that I ever have done ever. So that's been one big huge thing that I've noticed I've improved in, is just my ability to focus on things and stay focused for a long amount of time is just like a complete opposite
Wow,
of how I've
a
ever
marked
been.
difference. And you're really fairly new to the lifestyle, and you're, on this journey, and you're already seeing the things that you thought it might help with, some mental health things. Did you think that it might help with the binge eating disorder? And can you tell us a little bit about that journey? Are you seeing some signs that it's helping in that area for you?
Yeah, so I was with binge eating disorder, I'm always worried about diets that may be restrictive, because that's been my pattern before, is you want to lose weight or whatever it is, and you're cutting out like major food groups. But I feel like with carnivore, in one of the first meetings, I had expressed I'm a super introvert, and I just took a chance and I just raised my hand and I asked, I was like, I'm really concerned with doing carnivore and feasting and having a binge eating disorder because I don't want to like go out of control. And Raymond told me, he just told me like binge eating can be a good thing. Use your superpower of binging and binge on carnivore foods. And that was such like a mind shift of like how to think of it. I had never ever thought about binge eating disorder in a positive way. And that was just like that little nugget in my brain that he put that in there. And I was like, wow, I can't, like, this could be like a good thing. This could get me to where I need to be. And it just, now I've just started to have the habit of like when I'm wanting to binge or something, or I'm getting emotional and I can feel those like old triggers of wanting to binge. It's, well, I have to do it in a healing way. Like if I want to eat something bad, I need to use, or if I'm having an emotional time, I need to make sure what I'm eating is gonna sustain me emotionally and physically, because it's like I don't want to harm myself anymore in that moment. I don't want my mind to hurt and I don't want my body to hurt with what I'm eating. And I know carnivore foods, I've never felt bad mentally or physically from eating carnivore foods. So
Right. This is amazing, because in the past we would have these binging, that we would want to, but the actual foods that tend to be the go-to in a binge are so damaging to us metabolically, physically, mentally, like all of this. And so now you're taking these moments that you're still fighting, you're in the battlefield fighting with these situations, but you're hitting something that's actually helping your situation.
right.
That's
Right.
amazing. Oh my gosh, absolutely phenomenal. So
Just wondering, just asking. So do you? I remember you say once in the meeting that it's fixing your brain. Would you like to explain that a bit? Carnivore is
Yeah, I feel like with carnivore, it's just allowed me to like relieve that pain that I had in my soul of just self-hatred for the way I felt in my body and what I was doing to my body with being such a carb addict. And it just like those carbs just sort of reinforce that feeling of just guilt and shame. And it's just because that food is just chemical poison, and it just reinforces those bad feelings you have on myself. And now that I've removed that kind of food from my diet, it's like it's all clarity. Like I feel so good in like a physical sense and in my mind and spiritually and everything, because it's like I'm clean. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's offered some like pureness to me in a way, if that makes sense.
it makes so much sense. This is amazing. So tell me about your journey just with community, SB Gang, this incredible group that Bella has created. And what role has that played in your journey so far?
So much. So I'm definitely not like the type of person to like join a group and whatever. I'm, like I said, I'm such an introvert, but there is some kind of security blanket of this being on a computer and you're not like actually around people. So and I don't even remember really how I found it. It was probably just from a YouTube video and I got curious, but I love the community so much because we do these community calls, and even if you're just lurking in the calls, like it's accountability. Just just being there and showing up is huge. In the beginning, I did notice when I struggled, I retreated and I wasn't coming to the meetings, and it was like putting me back in that dark place. And then I just came back and I was open and honest, and I raised my hand and I was crying and telling everyone how I'd been struggling and everything. And it was just a really vulnerable spot for me, but everyone just like scooped me up and was like, it's okay, like we're here. And just to have people who are in it with you, and most of us are on the same kind of journey, that we're looking for optimal health or weight loss or whatever it is. Like we're all just mainly trying to be the best versions of ourselves. And it's just so great to have so many people who are in it with you in your struggles and in your successes.
Phenomenal. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. Tell me a little bit about coaching, carnivore coaching, and how, if that has played a role in your journey so far.
Definitely. The coaches are sort of like the superheroes of the group. And it's great to have people who are coaching, but they've also been in your shoes before too. They're relatable. And that is so important to me. Even in different ways, I know with you, Emily, it was weight loss. With Adek, I know that you have expressed a lot with eating disorders, which I relate to. And it's just so important to have leaders who have been where you are. And then also with coaching, like if you're struggling in a certain area, then things can be a little more tailored to you and make it a little bit more personal. So you can fine tune the things that aren't working as well, or you may, in a group setting, it's just like blanket rules for pretty much everyone. But with coaching, you can really fine tune it to what you need it to be to get your personal goals. Because my goals aren't the same as Johnny's or whoever's, it can be specific to you.
I love it.
I think that's so important, that when you connect with a coach and their story, and if it's very similar to yours, like you said, it's a connection.
Right.
You're working very closely with each other. So you have to have some sort of understanding of what that person is going through, where they've been. I like to say, been there, done that, got the t-shirt,
Yep.
And so, and we're not just one story. Sometimes, like what's unique, I think, about our community is that we will do team coaching, which I believe is what Heather is doing with our lovely Adek and Miss Emily, because she's not just one thing. She's just not one type of person. She has multiple layers. And so what's unique about our community is that we will team up. And we will pull in other coaches when need be. And it's all to benefit that individual.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I love it. I love it. Thank you for that wonderful testimony of coaching. And you talked about a lot of NSVs so far, especially with the mental aspect. Are there any other ones that you can think of that kind of surprised you that you weren't expecting?
Yeah, one that I was actually thinking about today, when I was a senior in high school a million years ago, I was in a pretty bad car accident, and I've had chronic back pain ever since. And in the last 4 years, I have been dealing with it had gotten really extreme after I had my third child, and I would have both of my legs would be numb, and they would basically just sort of fall out from under me at times. I could be walking around Sam's Club or something and my legs would go numb and I would sort of stumble. Not something you want to be going through in your early 30s. And so for the last 4 months, since I've been really committed to carnivore, I would not qualify myself as someone who has back pain anymore. It's like, I think it is just like no longer having all that inflammation in my body. It's just not there. I can easily get up out of bed in the morning. My legs, I couldn't even tell you the last time that I've had numbness in my legs. I mean, I was at a point when, after my son was born, where I was sort of using a walker just to get around when my legs would go numb. And it's just not there anymore. That's the main one of like the major health issues I've been having, was just, I have my legs back, and that's been amazing.
That's so incredible.
I did not even know that. That's phenomenal.
I wasn't even like thinking about it until Kathy was talking about some of her healing yesterday. And I was like, wow, like I wasn't even thinking about, it's like when you're so sick for so long, it's like you don't even realize all the things that are wrong with you. You're just like, I just live in pain all the time, and that's what it is. And then when things stop hurting, you're like, oh, this doesn't hurt anymore. It's just, you don't even realize how sick you are sometimes. And that's where I was so in denial about so many so many issues that I had. Like I went and got blood work, and it was this was like 4 years ago, and my cholesterol was a little high, my A1C was a little high, and I was just like, I'm just gonna throw that paper away, and I'm not gonna worry about it, and I didn't. So, but yeah, it's just I haven't had blood work in a bit, but I don't have some of those like pre-diabetes symptoms I had before, where I was waking up in the middle of the night and things like that. So I can't say for sure if my blood work is clean, but I feel better. A lot of those weird symptoms I had have gone away.
That's a really important point. I think a lot of folks in the community had that this is just part of getting older, or this is just part of being a mom, like aches and pains because of lifting children or doing things. And the fact that you had what in my world is considered a pretty significant orthopedic condition resolve itself just speaks to how anti-inflammatory carnivore is and how healing it really can be. So thank you for sharing that, because I think that's going to give a lot of people hope that if they are in pain, that over time that this can definitely make an impact. Do you fast?
I have before. I'm just now interested in getting back into it. But yeah, I was telling Adek and Emily today that I'm interested in starting back in that, because I know how much healing can come from fasting, and I definitely am ready to start that. I feel like I'm in such a good place with having control over my eating disorder that I'm ready to start into that now.
We're excited about that because, in our group, we have a very unique fasting protocol that's led by Coach Raymond and Coach Emily, and I've personally gone through it, and I can't speak enough about it. So I can't wait to see what your journey is going to look like. So Heather, I'm curious, I'm a mom and you're a mom, and I'm just kind of wondering what techniques or tricks do you use to, one, stay carnivore as a mom, and two, maybe try and help your family eat more this way? Do you have any tips or tricks that you can share?
Yeah. So the main thing is, I'm a mom of 3 kids, 7 and under, and we homeschool, and we're super busy. And my main thing is that I have to have food available and ready all the time, or like at least something really quick. So my number one trick that I use all the time is my Sam's Club does ribeyes that are cut like pretty thin, and I will buy them from the store and then freeze them, and then I can just pop the frozen ones into my air fryer, and they cook up in about 6 minutes. And that's like way faster than like any drive-through line or anything like that. Or I'll, any kind of like already cooked chicken or something like that. It's just, or, you can make your burger patties and put them in the fridge, or, pre-cooked bacon or whatever it is. Just having food available, because when I first started carnivore and I was having some struggling moments because I'm not perfect and no one is. But in the beginning, it was that I wasn't prepared, and that it would like I would get hungry. I would let myself get too hungry, and then it would take too long to make food. Like I want to make chicken wings, and it takes 30 minutes in the air fryer. At that point, like I didn't have time for that. So just having things that can be cooked quickly, or even like cook up a few steaks and keep them, eat cold steak out of your fridge, or whatever it is. Just having food available and ready, so that if you're a binge eater or something, you're not putting yourself in a situation where you could be triggered to do that. You have a backup plan, or like Emily says, a ribeye rescue.
I love that.
Ribeye rescue. It's a freezer to air fryer ribeye ready to go, just as Heather has described. So she's just told us about this experience of, when you're doubting yourself, questions, you think your world's going to go a certain way, but if you have that ready to go, then ribeye to the rescue. Tell me how that feels. If you're needing a ribeye rescue, how's that go for you?
Well, usually if I'm having some kind of emotional moment, you can't have that like instant like gratification. You have to have a pause, like, because if we just sort of coast on feelings, like we'll all be pretty frazzled all the time. So just giving myself the pause to make the choice, to say, I need to heal myself right now because something is going on. I'm having an emotion, and giving yourself the opportunity to choose help and choose something that is going to heal you. And yeah, I mean, it's just making that a habit and getting, and I understand how hard it is to like be like, well, yeah, now you're just in this moment where, or you're in this place where you can just make that a habit. But you know, that is where the discipline comes in. And
Yes.
sometimes you just have to put the hard work in and just focus and choose this for yourself. And like people always talk about, find your why. And you know, it's hard to stay motivated all the time to do this lifestyle. And I know it's not easy, and I know it can feel so isolating, but that is again where the community comes in, because with the community, you're not alone. Other people are also feeling like, oh, I'm doing this way of eating, and it's so hard because everyone else is getting to eat whatever they want. It's like, but this is like nourishing you and your soul and your body, and it's so good for you. So if you can get to the point where you can make these habits, it's just going to benefit you in the long run.
So tell me about how you navigate this with your children. You said you homeschool, but I'm sure there are events and things of that nature that your kids have to go to where there are options that aren't ideal. So how do you handle that?
Yeah, we definitely do. I have come from a pretty big family. It seems like always a birthday, and we're always trying to go to Chuck E. Cheese. So I try to eat before I go. And I understand it's like a social setting, and you know, you don't want to be the weird person not eating there. So I'll bring food if I can. Or if I'm having dinner where someone else is cooking, I will offer to bring my own food. Or if I'm close with the person, like they won't mind if I cook something there or something like that. But usually it's just eating beforehand. And you could even like, I don't know, put something in your purse and run around the corner and eat something if you really had to. And then just sort of, you know, I know some people in the group, they'll put food on their plate and just sort of move it around, but they're not really eating it. Because you don't, you know, it's so weird that people can, you know, eat a certain way, and people put so much judgment on what you're eating. It's like, why do you care about what I'm putting in my body? It literally doesn't affect you at all. So why do you have a judgment about that? But for some reason, people really like to shove their opinions in on what you're eating, especially when it's something like carnivore, which is so strange because it's like it's avoiding all the bad, you know, I don't want to say bad, but all the things that aren't beneficial to your body, you know, sugar, grains, all this stuff is like, you don't need it. So, so anyway, I'm getting off track, but,
Right.
but yeah, when going to parties and stuff like that, I just eat beforehand and bring food if I can. I can't imagine anyone ever being like, no, you can't bring your own food. Well, then I'm not coming if that's the rule. So
Yeah.
And when you come home, I remember you saying that you can eat steaks at 11:30 in the evening, and I love that as well.
oh yeah, I'm a total like midnight eater sometimes, and I'm definitely known to like crack open the air fryer or the cast iron skillet. Like, I don't know, I just this group has allowed me the freedom to just eat when I want to eat. And that's so freeing, because when you come from like a lifestyle or, you know, just like lifelong restriction, it is freeing. You can eat whenever you want. And they preach that so much in our meetings. And it's, you know, it's you got to, it's amazing. It's so much freedom in that.
Food
I have to
and
ask
feasting
something.
freedom. I love it.
Food freedom, Cherish. Yeah,
Food
say it again.
and feasting freedom.
Yes.
Freedom, yes.
Yes, we're free to eat. We are free to feast. This is amazing. So this is, I have to ask this question because we're talking about your non-scale victories. And I was curious, have you seen any body recomposition since you've we're talking about how much you feast, how wonderful this is. You're eating your ribeyes, you're, having this freedom. And I'm curious, has it had any negative impacts on your body composition so far?
No, I haven't had anything negative. I've definitely lost weight in this way of eating, and my body has definitely changed. Like for this shirt that I used to wear was very tight at one point. I put it on today and it's like a dress. So my clothes definitely fit a lot better and looser. And I mean, I've noticed I've always had like really big legs. I carry my weight in my hips and lower body. And my husband was even saying the other day that like my legs were getting like more toned up, and I definitely don't exercise. That's the next phase of what I'm gonna do. I mean, I do in that I'm chasing my kids all day, but yeah, right now, like I want to, but one thing at a time.
I love it. Okay. No, I just noticed you shared with us recently some significant success on how your body's responding to all this too. So I wanted people to know that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I have to, so I have a pretty large hernia. So I have to wear like a girdle to sort of keep everything tight. And that girdle has to be fairly tight to hold me in. And now my girdle is getting way too big. So I'm actually gonna have to buy a smaller one, which is,
oh my goodness,
a good problem to have.
You're losing fat. Your body's getting more efficient.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's
corset.
Yeah, I have one like that. You like Velcro it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm losing. I don't want to. I don't know if y'all put this in there or not, but
say it. Go. We want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I've lost 43 pounds since I've started this whole thing, and I mean, it's so crazy, like how fast it's sort of coming off. So
your body is loving this. Your body's loving this.
And you're eating more and you're losing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For
and
sure.
Restriction, that was just sometimes goes the other way around. So this is
I mean, and they always say like it puts your body in starvation mode, and and then your body is just going to hold on to it, but it's just not that way with this way of eating. And yeah, I mean, there's no negative side to carnivore.
Yeah.
I love that you're saying that you're enjoying the moment and you're enjoying the journey right now, and that you're in your little bubble of motivation and feeling good. So what brings you joy these days?
What brings me joy is definitely my kids and my family, and just spending time with them, adventuring with them. We lived in upstate New York for a while, and the Adirondacks are like my soul place. Like spending time with them there is just some of the most meaningful times that I've had in my life with them. And yeah, just being with the people that I love the most.
You are an artist, aren't you,
Heather? Yes. Yeah, I love painting and learning new things. And yeah, when I turned 30, I just decided that I didn't want to have regrets on anything anymore. And I wanted to try everything I wanted to try and just, tick off my bucket list or make a bucket list in general. And so I wanted to start painting murals and be more creative. So I started doing that. And my goal is definitely to like try and get like a commission mural at some point in my life. And I taught myself how to tattoo and all kinds of stuff. I'm in my 30s. Why not?
Oh goodness. And do you have anything more on your bucket list that you'd like to tell us?
Yeah, I think it's just traveling more. I really want to see Niagara Falls and the Grand Canyon and all that stuff. And yeah, just seeing more of the world. We moved around a lot with my husband and I. We've lived from California to New York, and that's been great fun. And I definitely want to see more of what's out there. So.
That's fun. Yes. If you could invite 3 famous people to your house for dinner, which would they be and why?
So I think first I would say Tony Robbins, because he does have this power of getting you to discover your greatness and the power
Yes.
within you. I just could listen to him talk all the time. And when I'm not really motivated, I'll listen to one of his talks. There's a million of them
Nice.
on YouTube. So Tony Robbins and David Goggins, because I think he's probably one of the most fascinating people, period.
Yes.
He's so motivating. I have his book and I listen to like little excerpts of it all the time when I'm feeling, like I can't do it. Then I'm just yelling at my husband, stay hard all the time.
Poor thing.
Right. And then the other one would be Mel Robbins, no relation to Tony Robbins, I don't think, but she's also another like motivational speaker, and she talks a lot about her struggles. She has anxiety and ADHD, and sort of just how to overcome with them and be the best version of yourself, and not letting those things rule you. So
that's wonderful. Oh, Heather, it's been so wonderful. I think you're going to be our next motivator for the world. And you're going to inspire. You're inspiring so many already, and I know that people are. They love your story and they want to know more of you, and they know where you can find you, because I've also seen you post lots of things on Instagram as well. And I hope to see more of you.
thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me. I loved it.
Absolutely. Can you share your Instagram, where can people find you specifically? Can you share that?
Yeah, just on Instagram, I'm b.happy.carnivore. And I just created it like a few days ago. I wanted to have more space to connect with more carnivores, and to support more people, and to get more accountability.
And I love that name. It suits you well.
I definitely feel like a happy carnivore now.
Amazing.
So if you're okay with it, Heather, we'll be happy to put your IG in the comments section, so that people can connect with you and follow you, and maybe do some meetups. And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Thank you guys.